Sean, are you ready?
Yes, Mayor.
Okay. And I think Councilmember Stearns was just moved
He is
off.
just joining the
Give
meeting.
him a moment. All right. Good evening, everyone. We will call the City Council meeting for Tuesday, September 7th, 2021 to order. The Auburn meeting, or the City Council meeting scheduled for tonight will be held virtually and telephonically. Per Governor Inslee's Emergency Proclamation 2020-05 and 20-28 and City of Auburn Resolution number 5581. City of Auburn has designated meeting locations as virtual for all regular, special, and study session meetings of the City Council and for the committees, boards, and commissions of the city. All right, Council, if you will please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United
States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. And Sean, will you please call roll?
Deputy Mayor DeCoursey.
I am here.
Councilmember Baggett.
Here.
Councilmember Brown.
Here.
Councilmember J. Raj.
I am here.
Councilmember Malinga.
Here.
Councilmember Stearns.
Here.
And Councilmember Trout Manuel.
Excused. Thank you. All right, we will move into proclamations. We have two of them this evening. I will start with Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. This is a mayor's proclamation. Whereas children are our greatest treasures and their health and well-being is a priority. Among the most distressing health concerns today is the high incidence of childhood cancer, which claims too many precious and promising lives. And whereas childhood cancer spares no one, affecting kids from every background, cancer kills more children than asthma, diabetes, cystic fibrosis, and pediatric AIDS combined. And it is estimated that 10,000 children are diagnosed with cancer every year. Although rare, pediatric cancer is the leading disease-related cause of death among children. And whereas the causes of childhood cancer are largely unknown, research has led to more successful forms of treatment and improvements in the quality of life for children coping with cancer and its side effects. A large number of long-term survivors now look forward to longer life expectancies, but unfortunately, many still face challenges or complications due to cancer. And whereas the toll that cancer takes on a child and a family is unimaginable and usually causes delayed development in young patients' lives, education, and in growth, while parents cope with high costs, stress, and other difficulties associated with caring for their ill child and entire family, often having to travel or relocate to obtain appropriate treatment. Whereas throughout this month, we take the opportunity to thank the many dedicated healthcare professionals, organizations, and parent advocacy groups that support childhood cancer patients and families by offering advice, encouragement, hope, and financial assistance, and that work tirelessly to lift the spirits of children suffering from cancer. And now, therefore, I, Nancy Backus, Mayor of the City of Auburn, Washington, do hereby proclaim September 2021 as Childhood Cancer Awareness Month in the City of Auburn and call upon our citizens to raise awareness of pediatric cancer and its impact on the community and to honor children whose lives have been cut short by cancer. Dated the 6th day of September, 2021. And the second proclamation this evening is for National Recovery Month. Whereas behavioral health is an essential part of health and one's overall wellness, whereas prevention of mental and/or substance use disorders works, treatment is effective, and people recover in our area and around the nation. And whereas preventing and overcoming mental and/or substance use disorders are essential to achieving healthy lifestyles, both physically and emotionally. We must recognize the 4 dimensions of recovery from mental health and substance use disorder: health, home, purpose, and community. And whereas we must encourage relatives and friends of people with mental and/or substance use disorders to implement preventative measures, recognize the signs of a problem, and guide those in need to appropriate treatment and recovery support services. And whereas an estimated 400,000 people in King County are affected by these conditions, and whereas to help more people achieve and sustain long-term recovery, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, the White House Office on National Drug Control Policy, and our local agencies, King County Behavioral Health and Recovery Division, Battlefield Addiction, Downtown Emergency Service Center, or DESC, Health Point, Nexus Youth and Families, YMCA, Ray of Hope, Ukrainian Community Center of Washington, and the City of Auburn invite all residents of Auburn to participate in National Recovery Month. And now, therefore, I, Nancy Backus, Mayor of the City of Auburn, do hereby proclaim September 2021 as National Recovery Month. Let's join together to observe this month with appropriate programs, activities, and ceremonies to support this year's National Recovery Month theme. Recovery is for everyone, every person, every family, every community. Dated the 7th day of September, 2021. 2 very important months that we are recognizing this evening. I doubt that any of us can say that we have not been touched or that we don't know someone who has been impacted by childhood cancer and mental health challenges. So thank you, Council, for allowing me to read those proclamations. Sean, do we have any agenda modifications this evening?
No, Your Honor, we do not.
All right, thank you. We have no new business. Citizen input. We do virtual participation. Was there any audience?
No, Honor. No, Your Honor, there was not.
All right, thank you. And as a reminder to anyone who might be listening, participants can submit written comments via mail, fax, or email. All written comments must be received prior to 5 p.m. on the day of the scheduled meeting and must be 350 words or less. And comments can be mailed to City of Auburn, attention Sean Campbell, City Clerk, 25 West Main Street, Auburn, Washington, 98001. Comments can be faxed to attention Sean Campbell, City Clerk, at 253-804-3116, or they can be emailed to publiccomment@auburnwa.gov. We have no correspondence this evening, so we will move to Council Ad Hoc Committee reports. Council Ad Hoc Committee chairs may report on the status of their ad hoc council committee's progress on assigned tasks and may give their recommendation to the City Council, if any. And we currently have one ad hoc committee that is for finance, and that is chaired by Councilmember Baggett.
Thank you, Your Honor. The Council Ad Hoc Finance Committee, consisting of Councilmember Jayaraj and myself, reviewed 2021 claims vouchers encompassing 62 pages, totaling $5.6 million from August 13th through September 7th. The committee also reviewed payroll vouchers for this period of August 1st through August 15th, 2021, totaling $2.7 million. All questions by the committee for the Finance Department were answered to the committee's satisfaction. And upon completion of our review, the committee recommends council approval of these vouchers. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Baggett. All right, we will move now to the consent agenda. All matters listed on the consent agenda are considered by the City Council to be routine and will be enacted by one motion in the form listed. Deputy Mayor DeCoursey.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to approve the consent agenda.
Thank you. Councilmember Jayaraj.
Thank you, Your Honor. I second that motion.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor DeCoursey.
Thank you, Mayor. The consent agenda for this evening consists of the minutes of the August 16th, 2021 regular council meeting, the minutes of the August 23rd, 2021 council study session, and the claims vouchers and payroll vouchers as described and recommended for approval by Councilmember Baggett.
Thank you very much. Council, are there any questions or comments? Right. Since I don't see that there are any, if you would please unmute. All those in favor of the consent agenda, please say aye.
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 All opposed, please say no. The consent agenda passes. We have no unfinished business this evening. Moving to ordinances, we have one, ordinance number 6832, an ordinance directing expenditure of funds appropriated to the city under the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, ARPA or ARPA. Councilmember Baggett.
Thank you, Your Honor. I move to adopt ordinance number 6832.
Thank you. Councilmember Jayaraj.
Thank you, Your Honor. I second that motion.
Thank you. Councilmember Baggett.
Thank you. Ordinance 6832 is a follow-up to Resolution 5608 passed by council on August 2nd, 2021, which accepted approximately $14.8 million of Federal American Rescue Plan Act, or better known as ARPA. These funds were awarded to the city of Auburn, and we have at this time received approximately $7 million of that sum. This ordinance is the council's direction on how to allocate and spend the ARPA funds through 2024. This matter has also been discussed in detail at our August 23rd council study session. Thank you.
Thank you. Council, questions or comments? Councilmember Stearns.
Thank you, Your Honor. I just wanted to say that I did think about making a motion today to amend the funding, reallocate funding for revenue replacement over to premium pay to essential workers. But it just seems that as a city, we owe an immense debt of gratitude to the thousands of frontline workers in Auburn who put themselves and their families at risk during the pandemic. And I believe that we probably could have made a difference in their lives. Not all of them, but making hard choices comes with a job. And the fact that we can't help everyone, I don't think that means that we shouldn't try to help some. But I do respect all the work that the committee has put in, and I hope that we can come back and look at this issue and just find a way to thank the workers who kept us safe and recognize what they've done. So thank you. Appreciate your allowing me to speak.
Thank you, Councilmember Stearns. Is there anyone else that, any other council members that have any comments to make? All right, hearing and seeing none, if you would please unmute. All those in favor of ordinance number 6832, please say aye.
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 All opposed, please say no. Opposition, please say no. Motion passes unanimously. Ordinance number 6832 is passed. Thank you, council, for your dedication and work on this. The funding, as Councilmember Baggett mentioned, we have received half of the allotted funding and will definitely be put to good use in our community. So thank you very much for your hard work. The work isn't over yet. It's just been allocated out to general categories. So you will still have some work in front of you making some of those difficult decisions. So thank you very much. All right, moving on to resolutions. Resolution number 5612, a resolution ratifying the mayor's determination of a stage 2 serious water shortage emergency affecting 12 customers in the Hidden Valley Brownwood neighborhood. Do we have a motion? Councilmember Brown.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would move adoption of resolution number 5612.
Thank you. Councilmember Jayraj.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll second that resolution.
Thank you. Councilmember Brown.
Thank you, Your Honor. A stage 2 water emergency declaration is needed in this case because the Hidden Valley Brownwood neighborhood response to the stage 1 water emergency declared on August 9th, 2021 has not achieved the necessary reductions in water use. The reductions are necessary so that withdrawals from the single well that serves the neighborhood do not exceed the annual well limits. The mayor declared a stage 2 emergency on August 23rd, 2021, so the city staff can provide intensified public education to the neighborhood about the critical need to conserve water.
Thank you. Questions or comments from council? All right, if you would please unmute. All those in favor of resolution number 5612, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no. All right, the motion passes unanimously. We had a short agenda this evening, council, hefty topics, but a short agenda. So we will move to mayor and council member reports. At this time, the mayor and city council may report on significant items associated with their appointed positions on federal, state, regional, and local organizations. And we will begin this evening with Deputy Mayor DeCoursey.
Thank you, Your Honor. On September 2nd, I attended the virtual meeting of the Psrc Growth Management Policy Board. And we had a number of items on our agenda, and that included an action item for what's known as regional centers, and the administrative procedures for that. The regional growth strategy seeks to encourage development of compact areas of growth that can support healthy and walkable communities, provide access to multimodal transportation, promote more housing near jobs, help meet climate goals, and meet other regional objectives. The administrative procedures provide clarity as to how jurisdictions may seek changes to the designated centers, for example, name, size, layout, and the process by which Psrc will monitor the consistency with adopted policies. It's noted that the regional centers are priority areas for federal funding, which are funds that are distributed to communities through Psrc. We also had an update on the Racial Equity Workshop recap and the status on the Psrc Equity Advisory Committee, which is being established. They've had numerous applications for 15 seats. So they are planning on expanding the advisory committee to a total of 20 members and allow more diversity to reach the region through the committee. And then finally, we had another update on the regional housing strategy. I've talked about this numerous times during the presentations. Psrc sent out a comment period for the regional strategy. They received 1,700 comments overall, which is phenomenal. We didn't expect to receive that many. Each one was reviewed, each one was looked at, and we will continue to work on the update for the regional strategy as we go forward. Two items in particular. One was having a framework to track performance and outcomes over time related to the regional strategy. And the other was continuing to explore financial incentives for housing actions, including prioritization, transportation funding for projects that support affordable housing. So those items will be continued to work on by the board, and I'll report back in the future as we come closer to the finalization of the regional strategy. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor DeCoursey. And if I'm not mistaken, Councilmember Stearns serves on the Psrc DEI or Equity Committee, isn't that?
Yes, he does. He can state that too, yes.
Yes.
I do, although I did receive a notice that we are going to probably expand the number of seats. So the first meetings are going to be pushed back a month. So we haven't had a chance to meet.
Thank you. All right, next we will move to Councilmember Baggett.
Thank you, Your Honor. I attended the Cities and Towns meeting for Pierce County. This was an association who basically gathers information of value to the residents of Pierce County. And primarily, we had a guest speaker, Peter Rogoff, who is the CEO of Sound Transit. And even though it was really kind of slanted towards Pierce County and Tacoma, it did give an overview of many of the King County, shall we say, extensions and opening of some of the stations that they are going to be having in the near future. For example, in the next 3.5 years, 28 new stations will be in operation by 2024, which is very good news. I'll give you a little bit of a recap about some of these. The North Gate has 3 stations that opens on October 2nd. Hilltop Tacoma, 6 stations, 2022. East Link, 10 stations, 2023. Linwood, 4 stations at 2024. Federal Way, 3 stations at 2024. And I was just up there today to see some of that work in Federal Way. And believe me, they were really going gangbusters up there. Also, downtown Redmond has 2 stations in 2024. Now, the important thing here, we've heard a lot about slippages and the schedules and things of that nature. And I'm not going to go through the entire list because it is quite lengthy, but I will hit on some of the significant items that Peter discussed during his presentation. Tacoma Dome Link, which also includes not only the link itself, the station, but also the parking facilities, respectively. The target date is now 2032, was originally on the ballot measure at 2030. The parking facilities were also 2030 on the ballot measure, and the target date for that on the parking is 2038, which is quite a ways out. Tacoma Community College link, that was on the ballot measure at 2039, and remains at 2039 at this time. Sumner Station was not on the ballot at the time, and that is going to be scheduled for completion in 2025, target date. Our Auburn Station, also not on a ballot measure at that time, is scheduled for completion in 2025, which will be good news for our residents. The Kent Station, also in the kind of same category as the Auburn Station, will be completed as a target date in 2025 as well. The Boeing Access Road Station it has a target date of 2031. And although this was quite a comprehensive review of where we stand right now, our mayor is on the board at Sound Transit, and as time moves on and we move down the schedule, she may have more information for us at that time. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Baggett. And yes, as you mentioned, I am on the Sound Transit Board. We met for over a year on realignment as the revenues were declining, expenses were increasing. And so we were working on how to best move into a realignment phase where everything was once again affordable. And some of that meant pushing out projects for a ways in order to be able to receive financing for those projects. And some of the parking structures that you mentioned on the light rail or link stations was pushed out in order to better provide for access by station. So building some of the stations sooner than if a station and parking were built at the same time. So it's not a decision that anyone wanted to make, but it made sense to be able to have more access points along the light rail than to stop, build one station and parking before moving on to the next. The goal is to have everything on track as it originally was scheduled, but in the case of the gaps in funding, we will move to that realignment program. So thank you. Councilmember Brown.
Thank you, Mayor. I have no report tonight.
Thank you. Councilmember Stearns.
Great, thank you, Mayor. I think I first wanted to just say thanks. Thank you to the mayor for the proclamation of National Recovery Month. You know, it really is just so important. I'm just grateful that we can, you know, celebrate people, you know, everyone here in Auburn who's in recovery and, you know, helping those who are still suffering and still struggling to, you know, to help them find help and peace. So I really appreciate that. Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple quick things that I'll just run through them. On the 24th of August, we had another meeting of National League of Cities Indigenous Municipal Officials, and I had the honor of we're doing backgrounds. So I got to share my life story with all the other elected officials and some of the NLC staff. So that was really fun and, you know, really exciting to, you know, just to go down memory lane. I also want to point out that a different matter is that on the 25th of August, I was honored to join the mayor, the deputy mayor, and Councilman Brown at the Muckleshoot tribal meeting. Report that the tribe's new event center is beautiful, and they are really generous hosts. And I just wanted to thank the tribe for that. And along with the rest of the council, I just wanted to say that it was really a wonderful event, a very sad event, but that was the Bill Pelosi Memorial on Saturday, the 28th. And, you know, I just am so amazed by what a wonderful and kind and generous person and faithful person, and apparently very meticulous person that Bill was. So I really want to thank him for everything he did to Auburn, and to thank and pray for his family. And then lastly, this past Thursday, I finally made it over to the community court. Got to see the interaction between Judge York and a couple of the participants in community court. And I'm just so amazed by, you know, what our city, what our city attorney, what our staff, you know, what Ken Hay, what all the people are doing to really help change people's lives. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to go there. I encourage everyone else to get down there. I'm looking forward to going back. So that's my report.
Thank you, Councilmember Stearns. I appreciate your attending former Councilmember Pelosi's memorial, and you are right, he was meticulous. There was never a comma or a decimal point that he didn't love and want to add to a document, but that meant he was certainly looking at those documents. Thank you. Councilmember Jayraj.
Thank you, Your Honor. I don't have any report this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Malinga.
No reports, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. All right, I will go over a couple of items on Wednesday, August 18th, along with Deputy Mayor DeCourcy and Councilmember Baggett and Councilmember Brown. I believe were the three council members that were with me celebrating construction and groundbreaking for the Pacific Innovation Center at Pacific Motorsports and Pacific Motorsports Park at Pacific Raceways, or some of us who grew up around here may know it better as SIR, but it is Pacific Raceways. We want to celebrate with Jason Fiorito and his family and business partners the groundbreaking for what is going to be an amazing facility in our region. It's allowing for a good number of union family wage jobs during the construction, and will continue to do so after we're out there for the ribbon cutting. So very excited by that opportunity. While they are in unincorporated King County, we like to own them as part of Auburn. They are part of our family, and we've been supportive of this project for years now. It feels like many, many, many years that it's been in the works. So it's wonderful to see it coming to fruition. On the 19th, on Thursday afternoon, I had the good fortune to be down at the Community and Events Center to honor Ginny Gannon, who was the executive director of Christ Community Free Clinic for at least 14 years. Councilmember Baggett, I know you were there. I'm not sure if any other council members, my apologies for not remembering, but to honor Ginny in the work that she has done from the infancy of the organization through the maturity now. For those of you that may not be aware, Christ Community Free Clinic is directly across the street from City Hall, from the backside of City Hall, and they provide free medical and dental for those who are in need. Their hours are not as many as they would like them to be, but they do provide a much needed service in our community, and we were honored to be there to provide an award in appreciation of Ginny and her great work. As mentioned, on the 25th, we did have we like to hold them quarterly, but during COVID that hasn't been the case, but the city and the Muckleshoot Indian Tribe meetings, where we go over issues of significance for those of us in attendance from the tribe and from the city, and figure out how to partner on issues that are impacting our respective communities. As I've said many times, we serve a majority of the same people. And so we should be working together in partnership, and I am excited by those opportunities to do so, and look forward to our next meeting. And then on the 28th, I also attended the Bill Pelosi Memorial Service at Holy Family Church. It was a well-attended event. Bill and Joyce have been active in the community for decades, and that was apparent by the number of people in attendance almost a year and a half after Councilmember Pelosi's death. And there were some chuckles, there were some tears, but it was a wonderful opportunity to remember all of the good things about Councilmember Pelosi. And then today, Council, I don't think you are aware, but Kent Hay, our outreach program administrator, hosted the CEO and other members of the team from the King County Regional Homelessness Authority, as well as the new Sound Cities Association policy person who will be working on human services. And we met here at City Hall, went over a little bit of how the day would go, and it was meeting with many of the service providers here in our community and showing what an impressive network of providers, services, and people there are in our community. We do believe that we are doing great work, as evidenced by the number of people that Kent is able to house, those that he is providing resources for, and the number that we will be able to help moving forward. The end of the day down at the Resource Center, We took them on a tour of the space that we have leased out that the Auburn Food Bank will be going into. We looked at that space. It is almost a blank canvas right now. So very excited for that work to get started, as well as the Sundown Overnight Shelter, the Ray of Hope Resource Center. We also took them into the space where the community court is that Councilmember Stearns, you mentioned attending last week. It was a slow start on community court, but I believe we have 7 participants now. Once you opt into community court, you are no longer a defendant, you are a participant. And the goal is to have you graduate in roughly 10 to 12 weeks with a myriad of action items accomplished each week before you appear before Judge York again. And so we are very proud of the work that is being done, and the resource center that is open also on each Thursday afternoon from 1:30 to 3:30 in the adjoining space. And that is not just open for those in community court, but it is a community resource center. Many of the local service providers are there to meet in person, or it can be done remotely. So kudos to our team for all of the great work that's being done because we are community. We have no reason for an executive session tonight that I am aware of. Sean, am I missing anything?
No, Your Honor, you are not.
All right. Thank you. And with that, we are adjourned.